The Joint Committee of the National Assembly probing the buyout of Telkom Kenya has summoned former Treasury CS Ukur Yattani to appear before it next week. Now, the committee has also summoned former Head of Public Service Joseph Kinyua to appear before MPs to shed light on cabinet sittings that initiated and approved the 6 billion Kenya shillings payments. Stephen Leto tells us more.
Probe into the irregular payment of 6 billion shillings in the Telkom Kenya buyout saga intensifies. The Joint Committee on Finance and Communication has gone back to the drawing board in an attempt to unravel the scandal. The committee has now summoned former Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yattani to appear before it to explain why he authorized the payments and whether the payments were sanctioned by a cabinet meeting. The committee has also summoned former Secretary to the Cabinet and Head of Public Service Joseph Kinyua.
From the letter from the Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yattani to the PS, National Security Council is mentioned as the originator of all these things. So I don't know whether there was a cabinet memo that went to the CS Treasury that, and who is the person of interest in the cabinet that we are supposed to, who gave that, is it the Head of Public Service? Who gave that memo to the Cabinet Secretary?
Who communicates to the Cabinet Secretary for Finance? One, Joseph Kinyua. Who communicates, who writes letters on behalf of National Security Council? The Secretary of the National Security Council is the Head of Public Service. If you want to remove a checker, you must deal with its ex.
What security concern was it that approved this? And yes, so once we call the Cabinet Secretary, we shall establish whether there was a cabinet memo or not, whether there was a cabinet decision, or whether it was a unilateral decision that was made.
Also in the MP's radar is former Treasury PS Julius Muya. Telkom Kenya Board Chair Edin Njoroge has also been summoned by the lawmakers to explain the dealings between Telkom, Helios Limited and Jamhuri Holdings and why the government is still a minority shareholder in Telkom with 37.9% shares despite the 6 billion shillings payout.
Who are you? Who took it to the cabinet? Why took it to the cabinet? And why is it here?
But we will all agree, we do not need to shout.
A heated exchange ensued with a section of committee members demanding that former ICT CS Joe Musheru be summoned.
I'm agreeable. If the committee finds it fit that the former ICT cabinet secretary should come, I think, there is nothing wrong with that. But I think the premise of where the chairman was coming from is that you can see this whole thing was about the government investment in Telkom Kenya.
But Jamhuri has been invited. So I was also keen that Helios, whether it is something not existing or what, we want this Helios also to be invited to appear. Very critical.
The committee has also dispatched letters to Jamhuri Holdings for any of its directors to appear before it. However, Helios Investment Limited has its directors in Mauritius Island, Cayman Island, and the United Kingdom.
Chair, now that you're saying anybody and everybody, I think Chair also, if need be, maybe this committee be allowed to go to Cayman Islands, Mauritius, and the UK, so that we know what this is.
Other persons of interest include Bernard Ndungu, who is the Director General Accounting Services and Quality Assurances, as well as Stanley Kamau, the Director General Public Investment and Portfolio Management. All the summons takes effect immediately, with the persons of interest required to appear before the committee starting Tuesday next week. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.